Hi there, it's Connie-Rae. Welcome to another craft share for today. The craft session today is going to be a bag. I have used the Christmas theme, maybe early for some, but probably not too early for others. We are moving into our new Stampin'Up holiday catalogue. So there will be lots of Christmas projects starting to arrive, I'm sure, in the crafting world. But for today's tutorial, I'm doing this gorgeous bag because I have a lot of 12 by 12 designer series paper, and I thought I would try and start doing some bags and using more of the designer series paper because it is beautiful and it's lovely. This designer series paper is from the annual catalogue. Yes, it's Christmas, and there is a current theme of Christmas in the annual catalogue that goes until next year, so you can get this one at any time. You can also get our little embellishments that I've used here, and along with that you can also get the ribbon, which is this ribbon here, and it's cherry cobbler, and I think they refer to it as, let me have a look, double stitched ribbon, and that is correct. It's double stitched on it's stitched like that on one side, and on the other side it's stitched like that, so it is double stitched on either side, and it goes in beautifully with the cherry cobbler designer series paper and a gorgeous bag to go with it. The sentiment I've used here is of the Flurry of Wishes, Flurry of Wishes stamp set, and it's sending you a flurry of warm Christmas wishes, which is this sentiment here that I've used on some cherry cobbler. But for today I'm going to use, for this tutorial, I'm going to use another piece out of that set, which is 12 by 12, and this is the green. It's got a gorgeous green speckly like snow side and a star side, well, little blinky stars. And I'm also going to be using for the sentiment, and I've already done that, the Peace on Earth stamp set, which is currently available for everybody. You can go in and purchase this now, and it comes as a bundle. So I've used the Peace on Earth because it's such a huge stamp. It's great. And I've used, to do this one, I've actually, well, I'll go over that later when I've constructed the bag with you, but basically I've just used my circle framelits to do the sentiment with that one. So if you've got your 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper, you will definitely need your scoreboard. So I'm going to make the top of my bag green, and the bottom, at the outside of the bag, I think I'm going to go with the stars. Yes, I think I will. Okay, so you're going to use the whole piece. So you're going to be scoring at 3 3/4. And remember not to go too hard, folks, because you will go through the paper if you go hard. So it's 3 3/4, just enough to make sure that you've got your line in. 5 3/4, and 9 1/2, and 11 1/2, which is going to be the joining side of the bag. And then we're going to turn it around, just one turn, and then we're going to score at 2 inches. This is all in inches, mind you, all the measurements. 9 inches and 11 inches. And that's the scoring done. So that's not hard, is it? It's quite easy to do. So I will just burnish my lines. I was just trying to work out which is the top. This is going to be the top of, sorry, it's very hard to get a whole 12 by 12 in the view of the camera. That's going to be the top of my, no, because I'm doing it the other way around, aren't I? Gosh, I'm a duffer. All right, so I'm going to turn it round, do it again. This is going to be the top of my bag, which is the green part. Okay, and then I'm going to burnish all of my, yep, did you see that? I knocked my camera. I'm going to burnish all of my lines, or my score marks. The little one is a little bit, sorry, I'll try and get it into angle for you. The little one's a little bit tricky, but that's the only one that's tricky. But you'll be fine. It's paper. It'll work. And then the next one. You can even do it with your hands. It's not hard. And the next one. But because it's so big, the 12 by 12 piece is so big, it's very hard to get into the camera without knocking something over. Okay, and then we've also got the bottom. Now the bottom of it is double reinforced, so you can put something quite heavy in here and it will withstand it. And of course I've already done my top, so turn it around the right way so that I don't get it wrong. But I think this way is easier to see on camera. Not a lot of cutting, but just a little bit. Down here you've got a little corner. Let me see. Yes, it's hard to see, I suppose, but anyway, you've got the little lip here, which is going to be your the side of your bag. You don't need all of that to join it up. You can take it up to your second section. You've done one scoring here, and you've done one lot of scoring here. So we're going to take out that whole bit there. You don't need it. So I will show you how that goes. Because it's just the lip of the bag. It's just the sealing section that we're going to keep. So when your bag comes over, it's just going to seal like that. And then what we're going to do, there is 2 rows here that we have scored. We've got one smaller row, which is at 2 in, that was at, let me think. I think that's at 9.5. No, that's at 11.5, and that's at 9.5. So the 11.5, actually look, just ignore that. And we would just go with the bottom notching and cutting in the bottom row. Just the bottom row up to the first score line. And I'm sure that you can, or you may or may not be able to see me, I'm not sure, but all I'm doing is the first cutting and notching on the first, up to the first line of the boxes. And there's another blot of boxes straight above it, and we are going to cut into that, but just not yet. Okay, you can do it now if you wanted to, but it doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to do a few things first. So currently, this is what your bag looks like. That's the join of your bag, which is this bit here. And these are the bottom parts of the bag that are reinforced, and that's the outside of the bag. So when it comes together, it's going to look really good. So one thing I would probably recommend that we do now is glue. Now I'm using Tombow because it's easier than putting tape down. And oh, did I just, yes, I did that wrong. Yep. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to wipe that off very quickly. Okay, so I am going to put some glue down here on each tab and just stick it to the bottom of that first box. So all the tabs that you've cut and notched, just put some glue on and stick them to the bottom of the next set of tabs. This just reinforces the bag to make sure that it's really solid on the bottom. So you can put just about anything in it, or anything that's going to fit in it. And I will give you the dimensions of the completed bag once we've done that. Don't put too much glue because it will take too long to dry, but just enough to make sure it seals really well. Okay, so we've got that part of the bag. Now we're going to notch up the second lot because we do want them to fold in, but we won't notch up, we'll cut up, I should say, because that could be confusing. I can't see. I'm trying to show you and I can't see. Okay, here we go. So what we do now is we're just cutting up those boxes up to the next notch. So that we now have the closure for the box, which will be like that when we do it. Yep. It'll be like that. But that's what we have to do in that section. Now here we're going to just put some glue down the side here. And we are going to, I'll do it this way, I think. Just want to make sure that that is, yes, that's better. All right, so we're just going to put a little bit of glue here on the lip. And we're going to join it up. So it lays flat and it marries up. There shouldn't be any bulk on it at all at the moment, like that. So, and just hold it down until it sticks a bit. And there is this little lip here that occurs from the fold down component. Sorry, I just got a little bit of glue there and it's driving me nuts. From the fold down component, you just need to run a little bit of glue here just to hold down that little flap that's sticking out, because it's just going to catch on things and it doesn't look very professional. Because when you do finish this bag, it's a very professional looking bag. So I'm just going to glue that down as well so that everything is glued solidly. And no, it's good, all good. All right, so we have got the basis of the box half made. See, quite good, isn't it? It's such a great little box. I love it. Okay, so while the glue is setting, we will do the bottom of the box. You can, I suppose, if you wanted to, you could glue. I wouldn't. I'm just going to glue this bit here. That's what I did with this. And then I'm going to pop that down and stick that down on top. That's going to be the back of the box. So that's basically all I'm doing for this one. Just enough glue to cover the areas. Not too much, because you'll just have it too damp otherwise. Depending on what you're going to put in it. There you go. Isn't that good? Nice and solid. It's got a great bottom to the bag. It's just so solid and sturdy that you can put just about anything in it and you know that it's not going to come falling out on you. So it's a good quality bag. I'm just stamping that. I'm just sticking that bit down. Just to make sure that it's all stuck down nicely and professional looking. Just going to put a little bit more glue up here on the lip because it just seems to be hanging off a bit. As you can see, there's just a tiny lip there. I'm just going to pop that little bit of glue on it. Okay. So now we've got that sorted out. You can put in, and I have made a piece of cardstock to go in the bottom, and that is 3 3¾ in length by 2 inches in width. And I just put that in the bottom of the actual bag itself, just like that. So it looks a little bit professional. Or if you've got some green paper, you can put some green paper in there. All right, so while that's drying, what you can do is you can just slowly squeeze that together, just ever so slightly, and scrunch it up. Put a couple of our little mini, what do we call them? We call them gold library clips. So just grab a couple of our gold library clips and just put them on the sides. They're just while the glue is drying, and then just get your finger and just run it down the side, and the bag will conform to the sizing per se. So leave the little clips on there just for a bit till the glue dries, and while that's happening you can go off and do your stamping. So while that's sitting waiting to dry, and it's not that you need a lot of time to wait for it to dry, but you might as well go on with your stamping while it's doing it. So I have used, for the sentiment, as I suggested before, I have used the Peace on Earth stamp set. I used Pear Pizzazz, and I used my sponge Delva, and I went round to the corners of my stamped image and just blended in a bit of Pear Pizzazz, just so it sits in nicely, I should say, blends in, whatever the word may be. And I cut just grabbing my bits and pieces, I used the largest scallop to cut out of some of the designer series paper, Colour Theory it was, and I cut out the largest scallop to do that, and then I used the second largest circle to cut around the sentiment, and that's how I came up with that. Put some dimensionals on the back and popped it onto there. So we will place that onto the front of our bag. What have I done here? Got my nippy bits in the wrong place, but I'll fix them up later. So that's what I did there. Now I might just put some on our little sentiment. Might do some little blingy bits. Let's see, what have we got here? Yes, we can do some blingy bits. Some green blingy bits. And some little, there we go. Okay, you can't see them, but there they are there. I love those little glitter dots. They are so pretty. Look, moved out of focus there. Again. There we go. See if it comes into focus so that you can see how beautiful it is. No, not going to cooperate. Fine. Okay. I'm not going to wait around for it to come into focus. Okay, so it looks pretty, trust me. Okay, so I put some dimensionals on the back. Oh no, they're the mini ones. I want the bigger ones, I think, for this one. Yes, here we go. So I would put probably 4 dimensionals on the back, ready to stick on. Now in the meantime, we'll bring our bag back, and what we're going to do is just punch a few holes, and I would use something that you are going to be able to see, like a piece of a pencil. In this case I might just use my white pen, because I want to line up where I want to punch my holes, because you don't want to punch it, I'll take this off, you don't need to punch it through this part here that folds in. That's just too hard. You're going to go in and you're going to punch it a little bit around in between these 2 points. So all you need to do, actually you can put these library clips on and you can use them as a guide. Take them right to the edge of your bag, out of the way, and you'll see that if you look, you'll see that your positioning is pretty obvious, and the library clips act as a balancer. So I'm just going to put a couple of holes, a little bit of I'm using the gel pen at the moment to put the hole indication there, because, why am I doing that? Because it looks like snow anyway. So that's kind of okay to do. So you won't spot it because it looks like snow. So then you're just going to get your hole punch. You don't need a huge sized hole punch. And you're just going to line it up with a little hole that There is no way I can show you this on camera, I don't think. Oh, let's say we can't. Pop and same. Pop. There we go. You might as well leave your library clips in because it just is going to make it easier to put in the trim. Now I'm using the sheer ribbon. It's the width of 1/8, which is really great because it goes through beautifully. Actually, I will take one off and put it through one at a time. So through the sorry, my computer just did something strange. Through the first hole, this just goes through really easily. It's not hard to pop through. So you just, because it is so, I like the 1/8 of an inch because it's really good for bags. So you're just pulling it through, and what you're doing is you're just tying a knot just in the end of it. Now, because this is small, thin in terms of width, you could put 2 knots in quite safely, and I will, which is what I'm doing now. There we go. So it's a little bit thicker, and you'll pull it like that. Okay. So, and then we'll do the other side. Do the same side at the same time, so that you've got a measurement for your actual your handle per se. So I'm sort of thinking that that is a pretty good length. So I'll probably take it up to the width of that and cut it and pop it through and do a double knot. And what you've got on the one side, you use it as an estimate for the other side, which just makes life just a little bit easier. And again, just do the double knots, bringing them right towards the edge. Don't bring them, making sure that you bring them right towards the edge of your ribbon, because you don't have to cut it all away. There we go. That's kind of a good place for the first knot. And then the second knot. Or fingers and thumbs, as they say. Okay, down for the second knot. Don't want to pull it too tight, but just enough to pull it in. Okay, so that's the first side, and we'll trim these off when we're finished. But for now, it's just one side, and we're going to do the other side exactly the same. I love these little bags. They are so good. And they're really easy to do. You need a bit of practice at doing them. Like, I've only done a couple, and you can be a bit, you know, practice makes perfect, as they say. And it is so true with paper crafting. A couple of times you've done one, you're kind of okay with it all. So, and I have been practicing because oh, there we go. Something just, oh, it was the library clip, that's all. Okay. I have been practicing because this is one that I did. I'll quickly show you. This is one that I made using Basic Grey. This is a designer series paper from Basic Grey, and it was beautiful. It came up really lovely, and the inside is just gorgeous, isn't it? And again, it's the same bag that, you know, I'm going to use as a Christmas bag or a birthday bag. But I had some, as I said, I've got stacks of designer series paper from lots of different companies, and I just need to use it. That's the truth. So that's what I'm doing. I'm preparing all my Christmas bags, and this is no exception. So if you start now, you'll have plenty. Now, what you probably do after the first knot that we've done here, you've done one knot, you've got one knot to go. So you bring your bag back in. So you've got your first one here that you've done. Let me show you. Okay, so that's your first part of the handle. This is your second handle over here. So what you can do is just bring it up, loop it over your fingers like that. Look. It's too big for that camera. Okay, so loop the first handle. Okay, and you've still got your ribbon here, and then just loop the second handle around to give you an idea of how long you need your ribbon to be. So basically that plus that length again is what I'm looking for here. You can measure an amount that you want to use and then do it that way as well. But this one, just doing it this way, is like, it makes it easier in the sense where if you do make a mistake, it's too long or too short, you can adjust it as you go and you're not going to waste your product. So it just makes it a bit easier. Well, I like doing it that way, but you do your way, or your preferred method of your ribbon and your ribbon of choice. And I do like this 1/8 ribbon. Like I've just ordered a white one, to tell you the truth. I do like it a lot because it's just so nice for little dainty bags. See, there you go. All right, so what we're going to do now is just go inside your handles, and we're just going to trim off the excess of our knots that we've put on the edge so that it doesn't look ratty and tatty. There we go. So our knots just look like little knots. That's all you can see when you look in the bag. And you see, nice. Okay, so your bag is almost ready to go. So we're just going to put our sentiment on the front, which we've already prepared. And that is going to be our sentiment for this occasion. You can put a squared one. You don't have to put a circle one. You can do this stamp any way you like. It's entirely up to you to which sentiment you like. But I did particularly like this one. And I'm just going to pop it probably towards the edge or a little bit. There we go. Pop your hand in, tighten it. There we go. All good. Look at that. Isn't that great? What a great little bag. I am going to be making some more of those. I do love it. It's not hard to do, but you do need a little bit of practice. Like anything you do, you need a bit of practice. And I'm really rapt because I can use my designer series paper that I've got lying around, and oh, there's my red one. I've got lots of designer series paper lying around, so I can get to use some and make some really lovely bags, good sized bags to put things in, some treats in. And there's one I haven't marked yet, but they are quite. Let me turn them around, which would be the professional thing to do, wouldn't it? There we go. So you've got your red one for Christmas, you've got another green one for Christmas, which is nice for boys, and then you've got just a normal bag that you can use for birthdays or whatever you want. So choose your favourite bag. But that's it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for your patience. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. Please give it the thumbs up so I can keep on making more. And until next time, take care. And yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for joining me. Ciao for now.